Hello Stampers, good morning. Welcome to another Facebook Live. A little bit earlier this week. My morning kind of threw me for a loop. My daughter ran out of gas on her way to the bus station and she had to catch a specific bus in order to make it into Edmonton for an appointment. So it's kind of thrown me for a loop this morning, and she has a crazy busy day. She needs to come back into the park and then head to work. So I need to be available to pick her up at the bus station to take her back to her car. So yeah, it's been a crazy morning. Plus, you know what? It serves me right because I did not pre-plan what I was going to do this morning. Good morning, ladies. Shirley, Christine, Mary Liz. I'm happy you could join me, even if it is half an hour early. Okay, all right. So I was just mentioning that my daughter ran out of gas this morning and called me in a panic. Thankfully, she ran out of gas right beside the church where her boyfriend happened to be working today. So he rounded up a few friends and they pushed her into the parking lot. I showed up. Good morning, Andrew. I showed up to take her to the bus station so that she could make it to her appointment. But I need to pick her up at 10 after 11 so that we can go back and figure out how we're gonna fill up her car with gas. I've got a jerry can. Hopefully there's enough gas to make it to the gas station so she can fill up and go to work. So yeah, so I had to bump it. I was either gonna cancel it or bump it up. And I seriously thought about canceling it because I hadn't planned what I was gonna do this morning yet. So yeah, we are just going to wing it. I have an idea in my head. Good morning, Bar. And I'm hoping that it will work. I pre-did as much as I could just to keep it short and sweet this morning. Good morning, Beth. So needless to say, I did not end up entering everybody's name in for this draw from last week, but I will, and I will post the winner in the comments below. So that will come later today. I just ran out of time, didn't have time to do that. So we are gonna go ahead and I'm gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna get right into it this morning. Okay, so bear with me for just a second here. And I'm really hoping that the connection is better this week than it was last week, because last week it was terrible. And I ended up having to refilm the whole video. Okay. All right, so now we are gonna do something a little bit different. We're not making a card or a 3D project this morning. We are making a sampler. And we are, of course, using the Everything is Rosy suite because I need to use the heck out of this until I can't use it anymore. But I wanted to show you this DSP because we're gonna use some of this morning. This is the Delightfully Detailed Laser Cut DSP. And it's this gorgeous DSP. I believe you get 4 sheets of each of these. So there's this one. So there's strips across here and strips down here that you can cut out. And then these work perfectly on card fronts. And then there's another one. So I think you get 4 of those. This is the same. You have to be, they're each separated by tissue paper because they're just so fragile. And then there is, oh, I'm missing the tissue paper here. This gorgeous full sheet of laser cut, which we are going to use. And what I love about this is it's vanilla on one side and white on the other side. So, and of course you can use a brayer to color that. You can spritz it. You can make it whatever color you want. You can use sponge daubers on it. There's really, your creativity is the only limit. So we are going to use that patterned paper, as well as the Everything is Rosy patterned paper. Just gonna set that aside. So, like I said, I've pre-done some of this just to speed things up this morning. So here is the paper. I really wanted a white on white look. So I took the paper, I used Tombow glue, and added it to a piece of Whisper White 12 by 12 cardstock. I didn't cut it down. I wanted the full background to be that. Now, I should qualify this. I was inspired by something that I saw online. I think it was a fall version of this. I think it was created by Julie Kettlewell, I think is her name. And it's stunning. Hers is a little bit more rustic. Mine's gonna be a little bit different, but that's where the inspiration came from. So then I've got 3 pieces of cardstock. So Melon Mambo, which measures 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Yes, the paper is beautiful, isn't it? I've got a piece of Night of Navy, which measures 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and I've got a piece of Whisper White that measures 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. Okay, so we are going to, let's start with this. Okay, and then, set that aside here. I've gone ahead and used the large letters framelits. These were retiring. I am so sad that these are retiring. I tend to get rid of almost everything that retires, but this is something that I will not be getting rid of just because they are so useful for so many different things. Scrapbooking and creating samplers like this, I've used them on cards. Like, there's just so many different options with these. So these are great. They are only available while supplies last or until the end of May. So I've used those and I've gone ahead and I've cut out my words. So I've got one of them here. Okay, so it says home. I've cut it out of the Everything is Rosy paper. And I've gone ahead and I've cut out the word sweet from the rose gold shimmer paint, or shimmer paint, rose gold foil, sorry. Yeah, it looks like everybody's keeping theirs. It's just such a practical set. Okay, so, and I thought I've gone ahead and I've added these 2 words already. These are popped up. I used mini dimensionals to stick them down. But I wanted to leave 1 word so that I can show you guys how I do this. So what I do is I figure out where I want it, and I want a little bit more of a gap. I use a quilting ruler because then I can see measurements in 2 directions. So I've got my ruler, it's straight along the bottom. It's about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. And I know that this is 7 3/4, and half of that would be 3 1/2 would be half of 7, 3 3/4, 1 2 3. I'm doing math on the spot. I should have jotted this down. 3 3/4 would be half of 7 1/2. No, 3 5/8. Okay, so this is the center mark right here. So I know I've got 4 letters. But my M is slightly bigger than the rest. So I am just going to probably move this one over a little bit more. And I'll probably do it like that. So this allows me to get it straight, but then also kind of centered from side to side as well. Hello, Amy. And then I will go ahead. I usually start with the middle letter. It's easier when there's an uneven number of letters. So I just peel off the backing here and then I'll start sticking it down. Just like the tabs bundle, I won't be getting rid of that either. Yeah, the stamp set, like I love that stamp set. All those random words, they're perfect. Tabs for everything, I think it's called. Oh, I didn't peel off the backing on that one. Okay, so then I'll just stick them down, lining them up with the edge of the ruler. I tell you, this ruler, I use this ruler, it's almost always on my desk. Close one eye, lay it down, and hope for the best. That's good, Brad. All right, okay, so then I'll just keep going. And you know what, it doesn't always work out perfectly, but it ends up being pretty close. Oh, I watched something, does anybody watch, oh, he's a talk show host and he does he drives in cars with musicians and they sing. What's his name? It starts with a C. Did anybody see the Celine Dion one that he posted? Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I was watching it this morning. Oh, Amy just bought the large letters. Yes, in my opinion, they are a must-have. Like it's just something that I constantly go to. Okay, there we go. So that looks pretty good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my layers and I'm going to stick them down. Conway? Is it Conway? James Corden, that's right, thank you. Did anybody else see the one with Celine Dion? It's so funny. Okay, so this will give me about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And then this one will be, I think it's 1/4 of an inch. So I wanted a little bit more of that pink showing than the blue. Look at that, looks pretty just like that, doesn't it? No worries, Beth. Okay, so now this is gonna get stuck on here. And I'll probably use a little bit more adhesive than I normally would just because this will likely be hanging on the wall. So it'll be hanging upright and not flat. So again, this could be where your ruler comes in handy. I should have done this before I stuck the adhesive on. Okay, so this measures, what did I say, 8 1/4. 8 1/4 minus 12 is what? Let me grab my ruler here, or my calculator. It's too early and it's Friday for math here, 8 1/4. So just shy of 1 1/2. Is that right? 12 minus 8 1/4. No, 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 divided by 2 is 1.875. So 1 7/8 ish. Let's see how close we are if we do 1 7/8. See how this ruler comes in handy? Okay, so we've got 1 7/8 and we've got 1 7/8. And I'm 1 7/8 from the bottom. There we go. So that should be in the center. There we go. Perfect. So I know it's straight and it's in the center. See how perfect this ruler comes in? It's great. Mary Liz says she ordered a T-square. Yeah, at my last scrapbook class, somebody had a T-square that she used to line things up. I've never used a T-square, so I'm not sure how that would work or what I would think of that, but I love my quilting ruler. Okay, so now we can leave this as is, and it's beautiful. I mean, you wouldn't need to do anything else with this, but I thought it would be fun to add some little floral images. So I've gone ahead and I've pre-stamped and pre-cut some of these flowers. I'm gonna grab my bone folder. Okay, we'll curl these up. I know, isn't it a lifesaver, Shauna? It makes things so easy. And I use it for scrapbooking all the time. Okay, so let's curl up some of these flowers. So I've gone ahead and stamped them with Melon Mambo. I did an assortment of the large flowers and the small flowers. The size of my ruler is 6 by 12. So I believe you can get a 2 by 12. I think you can get a 12 by 12. I'm not sure, and this is a 6 by 12. I'm not sure if there's any other sizes in between, but I find this one helpful. I do have a 12 by 12 one too, but I find it's too big. When you have a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock on your table, and then you've got a 12 by 12 ruler and you're trying to measure, like it's too much. So the 6 by 12 for me works perfectly. Okay, and then I've got some of the leaves, and I stuck with the colors that are in the patterned paper. So I did a balmy blue first, stamped off, and then I used a sponge dauber with some Night of Navy and just put that around the edges. And kind of, this is my idea, is kind of doing a cluster up here, possibly another one down here. That's how Julie had hers, but I'm thinking one cluster of flowers might be enough. So I'm basically just curling these, and I'm gonna play around with the positioning. I've also gone ahead and out of the foil, I have cut the detailed leaf because I find that that's always nice to tuck in behind, and I like to trim it down. So I will trim it right here. So that off there. And that just allows me to cut once, but then get a few uses out of it. Leaf here. Okay. So what does everybody have planned for the weekend? I don't know, I kind of like that. Okay, let's start sticking these down. Let's grab my bigger dimensionals. Oh, it's time to pull out another sheet of these. Okay, let's start with the big flower. And let's attach this guy to the back of that first. Okay, I'll put a dimensional on the back of this, and then we'll start tucking. You're making thank you notes, Beth? It says 2 whole days with Andrew, chores, barbecue, crafting, I hope. It's the kind of weekend here. Oh, Brett, it's kind of, oh, that's right, you're in the States now, right? So it's a long weekend there. School is done. Man, does it feel weird having the kids out of school so early? Grab some mini glue dots. 3 timeouts each. Welcome to summer holidays, hey? I remember those days. Just wait till your kids are older and they stay in their rooms and you never see them, apart from mealtime. Okay, let's do that. Let's see. That looks too symmetrical, having it stuck over there. Nope, I don't like that there. Here. That too much blue on one side? Maybe it does need to be here. Does anybody else fuss like this? Good morning, Kim. Oh, it's your 60th birthday? Happy birthday. Not Kim, sorry, that was Beth. Okay, let's trim this off here. I find sometimes this is what takes the longest, is just kind of fussing around and trying to figure out the positioning of everything. Okay, let's just commit. Let's stick this underneath. Put it there. Let's pop this up using a little dimensional. Let's use a mini glue dot on this one. That's, Shauna says that's why it takes her days to do a layout. Yeah. Yeah. All the fussing and getting it just right. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what, enough is enough. Let's just get this done. Okay, what do we think? I think we need something else there. I've got a little scrap piece of white. See, this is why I keep everything, because you never know when you're gonna need just a little something else to tuck. No, the white gets lost with that detailed background. Do I want to use that little piece? Yeah, I think that's it. So let's just cut off this tiny little sprig that has nothing on it. And then we'll use another mini glue dot. Amy says she fusses at everything, and that's why it takes her twice as long to make swaps. All right, this is going to tuck underneath here. There we go. Okay, and then let's put one of these in the center of the big flower. So these are the little mirror embellishments that come in the suite. We'll put that in the middle of that. There we go. Okay, so do we keep it with one cluster of flowers, or do we put another one, excuse me, down here? Maybe a smaller cluster? Something like that. Do we do two, or do we just do one? I actually kind of like two. What do you think? Another small one. Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll put a little bit of adhesive on the back of this. No, that's too big of a leaf. The other thing that I found with this big leaf is sometimes if it's just a bit too much, I will just cut off so that I have a shorter piece like that. And I find sometimes that's all you need for just a little bit less of a leafy image shown. Okay, now how did I have it? I had it and I liked it. Maybe the leaf kind of in between these two flowers, like that. Okay, let's stick this guy down first. Can you guys see the bottom? Yeah, you guys can see, okay. Put that guy down first. And then let's pop this up with a piece of dimensional. Amy says, odd is more appealing to the eye, so having 5 flowers is good. Yeah, I agree. Let's put that one flat. Okay, we need another one of these little embellishments. There we go. I like it. What do you guys think? And it's pretty simple to make. I mean, I did pre-do some of this stuff too, right? I pre-cut the letters, but they really didn't take very long. And you can cut 2 at a time, especially with DSP. With cardstock, I wouldn't, but with the DSP, you can cut two layers at a time. So it really went really, really quickly. It's really pretty. I mean, you could do this with any collection, but I think it looks beautiful with the Everything is Rosy. Let's see here. I have to remember to take pictures before removing to glue it down. That's right, yeah. Sometimes I'll do that too. Like if you've got something and it's got lots of little pieces, then taking a picture of it so that you know how everything goes back, that does help a lot. Beth, you're right. I already have a few of the medley sets, but I feel like I need another one. This DSP seriously is so pretty. So pretty. I absolutely love it. So I was only going to use half of a kit and see what I could create with half a kit, and I couldn't stop. Like I'm dipping into the other half and I'm using it. I've got at least one more video. I think on Wednesday I will have another video, just really quick and easy, something to show you with the DSP and some new product. And it's a little 3D project. And if I get time to scrapbook this weekend, I might do one more layout that I'll share with you on Monday with this suite. So yes, this lace paper, it's retiring, Beth, so you definitely want to pick that up before it's gone. And we have one that is very similar in the Occasions catalog that is petal pink on one side, and I don't know if it's white or vanilla on the other side, but it's beautiful as well. So both of those are retiring. All right. So if you guys have anything that you want to order, there's still a few more days to use that host code, and I'll send you a little something in the mail. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Thanks so much for joining me. Sorry that it was a bit rushed, but I've got to head out and get my daughter's car all fixed up and get her going for the day. So have a fabulous weekend, and we will see you next week. All right, take care. Bye, guys.